Is everybody in? Is everybody in? The show is about to begin.
Welcome to the podcast, concerts that made us, interviews and stories, tales from the bus. We love taking you back to when it all went down. The greatest live shows and the cheering crowd sound. It's concerts that made us, concertsthatmadeus.com.
This is Jody Mayhew speaking to you guys, and you are listening to Concerts That Made Us.
Wacht net nog 'n bietjie, ek dink ek verstaan nie, ek weet jy's nie kwaad nie, daar's nergens om na te draai nie. Jou seer het nie 'n naam nie, jou prentjies het nie kleur nie, jou hart wil nie klop nie, daar's niemand om na te draai nie. Maar ek bid vir nog 'n kans, wat jy vir lewe sal gee. Die wêreld sal leeg wees sonder jou idees. Ek's jammer al die mense wat nie weet wat hulle doen nie. Hulle woorde maak seer, maar jy's meer as genoeg. Ek smeek, jy moenie luister na die wolwe daar buite. Hulle woorde waai soos die wind hier en weer. Maar ek bid vir nog 'n kans, wat jy vir lewe sal gee. Die wêreld sal leeg wees sonder jou idees. Ek bid vir nog 'n kans, wat jy vir mense sal gee. Lewens sal leeg wees sonder jou. Ek bid vir nog 'n kans. Daar's nog drome in jou hande, nog woorde op jou lippe, wat almal nog moet hoor. Daar's nog lewe in jou oor, nog ritme in jou hand, nog spore wat wag om te loop. Maar ek bid vir nog 'n kans, dat jy vir lewe sal gee. Die wêreld sal leeg wees sonder jou. Maar ek bid vir nog 'n kans, dat jy vir lewe sal gee. Die wêreld sal leeg wees sonder jou. Ek bid vir nog 'n kans.
Jody, you're very welcome to Concerts That Made Us.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's great to have you now. Now, your latest release, Nog in Cans, I hope I'm saying that right. It means another chance in English. It has a very powerful message. Can you take us a bit deeper into it?
Yes, well, it's pronounced nog 'n kans, but yeah, it's got a deeper meaning. It means that for me, it's give life another chance and give the people around you another chance to get to know you, to find the deeper side of who you are. And yeah, it's basically just written from a place that no one should be away away from themselves, away from other people, so long that they think they have no other choice than to, yeah, take their own lives.
Did it come from personal experiences, or where did you get the inspiration from it for it?
Well, I was lying on the bed on a Friday afternoon just before I was going to do my shows, and I scrolled through Facebook and I saw this post of a young boy, 16 years old, taking his own life. And I looked to my wife and I said, "Well, I need to write a song about this. Something needs to be said." And the weekend went on, and the Monday I came home and I was just tired. And the Tuesday morning I canceled everything and I started writing this song. And I started writing about 10 o'clock and I finished it at 12 o'clock, and the song was finished. And this was the inspiration and my heart behind this. The hurting of hearing this story made me write this song.
Do you usually go so deep with your songwriting, or or do you usually look in dark places for inspiration?
Um, I try to write stuff that have meaning. I think a lot of times people don't delve or don't go that deep into their emotions and the feelings to find perspectives and find meaning in words. So yeah, I tend to go a little bit deeper than the normal, and I feel that's what makes my songwriting and makes me unique.
Very true. Very true. The song, it's in Afrikaans. Is there much of a difference in your approach when you're writing a song in Afrikaans as opposed to English?
Well, my Afrikaans writing um, is has only begun about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that I started writing Afrikaans and looking into writing a little bit more Afrikaans. I write much more English songs than Afrikaans, and I started giving it a different approach, as to think about what I would say in English and try to bring it over in Afrikaans, and that has worked for me in this too. Thinking in English and writing in Afrikaans, it's been a journey learning how to write in Afrikaans, but it's something I love the challenge. I love trying new stuff, so why not?
True, true. Now, something that I'm intrigued by is, is there much of a difference in how well a song will do based on what language it's in?
I think it depends on where you are. Like in South Africa, um, Afrikaans is big. There's a lot of support behind Afrikaans music. The English is there, but when you start writing English in South Africa, then you must know that you have an international competition with your songs being heard, and I believe that makes it a lot harder to get your music out into the big world. But when writing Afrikaans in South Africa, then there's more of an openness towards listening to it, and there's more of a support behind it.
I actually never thought of it that way. I was looking at it from the other side. An Afrikaans song won't really be listened to outside South Africa, but I never thought of it that it would actually be more, obviously it'll be more popular, but the way you said it, an English song, you've international competition, but I like that way of thinking about it. It's very good.
Yeah, it's I think you had to learn about it because, like, I've got a lot of songs. I've got a few songs on Spotify and iTunes, and that are released, and they are English. My first two songs were English. I had an EP after that with 5 songs. That's an English song, but I had another Afrikaans song that did well. But the English songs were a little bit hesitant, and they didn't do that well. So I think it's a big thing to look at when where you are. What is the language, and what is spoken, and what can be heard easier, and from there on you can plan on bringing out the other stuff when people have listened enough to your Afrikaans.
True, true. Now, when it came to recording and production on this track, was there any challenges you faced or any memorable moments that you can share with us?
I think challenging was not really. It happened so quick because when I wrote the song, the story after the song, like before the song, it was the boy, but afterwards I sent the song through to one of my friends, and he works at a school as a counselor, and I sent it through to him right after I wrote it and recorded it very raw. And I went on with my day, thought nothing about it. But the afternoon, he gave me a call and he says, Jody, is this song, has this song been part of your collection of songs for a while now? Or when was it written? Why was it written? Explain to me. And I started explaining to him the situation behind the song. And he says, when did you write it? And I told him I wrote at 10 o'clock and I finished 12 o'clock. And he says, Jody, in that time, I was speaking to a young lady at school who wanted to take her own life. And the exact same words that you used that give life another chance was the words that I used to motivate her. And this gave the song so much more meaning afterwards than before, too.
Oh my God, that's crazy. The timing of it, crazy.
The, the, the timing was just perfect. And it was such a special moment when he told me this, and I was I was beyond amazed.
Yeah, yeah, I could imagine. Oh my God. And your career, you've been performing since 2014. Can you share some of your journey with us?
Well, I grew up in a different environment, and I think that when I started playing music, my idea was never to become famous, but it was to make a difference in people's lives. And when I started out, I was stalking people to get shows. I, I, I would arrive at their shows and say, "Yeah, man, I need to do some shows. Can you help me get into this place or that place?" And so much that I thought, Jody, you can't do this. You're gonna get locked up. But in my journey of performing and playing at different places, I started seeing how music can change people's lives, and I realized that this is what I want to do. I want to make a living out of it and make a change, leave footprints.
I like it. I like it. Now, as well as originals, you have a very unique style. You take well-known songs and you make them your own. You put your own spin on it. How do you decide on what songs you'd like to cover?
Well, I've I've listened to a lot of songs in my time, and even before I started playing a guitar or singing, I listened to a lot of songs, and in that, I know what makes me excited and what songs makes me want to listen to more of this musician's songs. And so from there on, I decide what I enjoy, and I believe other people will enjoy it, and I hope so. And then I just make it my own. I try to be as original as possible. That was the one thing that I decided when going into the music industry, was that I don't want to cover a song and make it sound exactly like the original. Or else I can just play them a CD or a tape or let them listen to it on Spotify. But I want to make this unique and I want to make it my own. And well, it's been working for 10 years.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Have you ever thought of maybe, taking a well-known song and transposing it into Afrikaans and doing an Afrikaans version?
I have thought about that, but but I'm scared of doing that. um, I think I think a lot of times I'm scared of taking the magic out of what was said in those words and bringing it to Afrikaans and not having that same reaction to it. I think it's a very it becomes a personal thing because it's still personal words written by certain musicians, and not and a lot of the words that you have in Afrikaans, you can't say in English, and the same with English in Afrikaans. And I don't want to bring the song down, if I can say it like that.
Makes sense. It makes sense.
But I can try.
Exactly. Exactly. You can always try. Now, the podcast is called Concerts That Made Us, so I need to ask you some concert related questions if you don't mind. First off, as a concert goer, what concerts would you say have made you?
Well, there was this one that I listened to the band called Roxette for my whole growing up. And when I got the opportunity to go and watch her here in South Africa in Joburg, it was one of my dreams come true. And that must have been one of the shows that really touched my heart, is watching one of my favorite musicians performing the song. And the sad part about it was when she was sick, so she couldn't stand up and enjoy the show like the rest of her band. And that was something touching to me because the music was still there and she was still enjoying it, even though she couldn't stand up with her band and enjoy the moments.
Sounds almost bittersweet, maybe.
Yeah, it's the it's the take 2022. You don't know what to take from it, but I still got to see the show, and that's a positive note for me. And hearing the songs live, and just if I can go into the technical, is hearing the mixing being done differently from an international band to a South African band, because the South African band before them was Watershed, and it's a big name in South Africa, but when I listened to the sound and the mixing done, I was wowed by it because it's so much different, and that also means something to me.
I see. I see. Now, your own shows, for any listeners that haven't been lucky enough to catch one of them, what are they like? Give us the full experience if you can.
Well, with my own shows, I try to take people on journeys. So I would start with music that is good on the ear. I would start with something like a Bruce Springsteen song that everyone should be knowing, and that would get you going and listen to what I'm saying. So I would start with about two covers or three covers, and then I would listen to what genre I ended off with, and then choose one of my own original songs to bring into that. And that helps captivate the audience normally. And then I would find stories to tell about these songs that I've written and where they come from, and explain about it. And that would be the process of getting into my own original heartfelt music. And if I see the crowd is a little bit more Afrikaans, I would go into my Afrikaans music that I wrote, and also some covers of other artists in South Africa, and bring that to light. And then I would end off with some of my favorite songs that I wrote. So it would be a mixture of international originals and, yeah, South African.
I like it. I like it. What's your thoughts on the local scene? Is there much competition? Is there much chances or opportunities to play gigs?
I think there's a lot of musicians that come into the scene and get opportunities, not only because of uh, being good, but also because of positioning themselves. And I believe that, like, we have so much opportunity with TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. There's so much more opportunity than 10 years ago, if I can say it like that. And I believe it's a good thing, but it's also not a good thing in some situations, because I feel that musicians grow when they start performing and when they start playing music to an audience. But a lot of musicians these days haven't played in front of audiences, but they are still signed, or they are still uh, taken into record label. And the problem is with that is, as soon as you start playing in front of an audience, and now you've created an audience online, you're not used to singing in front of people. So there's a variation of things that are good and things that are not working at the moment in the local scene.
It's really interesting what you said about TikTok, social media. Do you ever feel pressure to try write like a 30-second hook that, might go viral on TikTok?
I I do, but then I have to take myself back to a place where, um, is this really me, or is this just a ego thing of, I need to do this to to get to a place where people see me. um, and that's the questions I need to start asking myself in those situations, because it's easy. You can go and you can write a hook and write something that people like, but not necessarily who you are. And the problem with that is, as soon as that happens, then you start putting yourself in a situation where you are not portrayed to the people anymore, but the what the people want is portrayed to them, and that becomes a sad situation.
Very true. You kind of lose yourself, lose your authenticity.
Yeah, and the problem is, um, when I speak to some of the people that have made it in the South African scene and are doing well and getting the good shows, thousands of shows, the people with thousands of fans there. The problem is, a lot of times when speaking to them, is that they are not making music and writing the music that they want to do. They are sort of forced into a position by record labels, and forced into position by what the people want. And I think then you create a place where you make fans that are not really your fans. They are the fans of the music that you are creating.
Man, that actually sounds like a nightmare. It sounds like you'd be trapped in this machine that you just want to get out of.
Yeah, no, exactly. And if you've done this for, say, for 5, 6 years, you have created this genre, this place of who you are now. And as soon as you want to change that to something different, now you've created a blueprint of who you are to the people. Even though, because most of those people don't even know who you are, really. So now when you come out with something that you want to do, then yeah, it's as if you're not going to find the same fan base as you would have when you created what they wanted to hear.
Very true. Very true. Now, your gigs, if you think of all the gigs you've played over your career, is there one that sits above the rest? It just couldn't have gone any better.
Well, I've played some big shows. I've had some opening slots for some big names in South Africa. We've got guys like Arno Carstens and Prime Circle, a guy called Ron Ash that's tearing it up in the country scene at the moment internationally. So I've opened for all these guys, but if I have to be honest with you, it's it's never been the show with the most people, but it's been a show where people booked me to play at their house, and they've invited friends, about 50 friends, and they said, well, Jody, we want to hear a few covers, but please play us all your originals. And and that's the show that was perfect, is people that wanted to hear what is on Jody's heart. And that, yeah, I can't express my gratitude towards that. So yeah, that's my best shows is. I played at this one place. What they did is they invited the whole community that they know in their area to come to their house, and they put me up on their lawn. And what they did is they put on a box at the front door, and they said, "Well, put your money in here. Whatever you want to give, put it in there, and come and listen to Jody Mayhew." And there was about 100 people on that lawn that evening, and it was a great experience.
Man, man, that you're right. That is way more meaningful than, the big, massive gigs with lots of people there.
Yeah, way it's way more meaningful. And the thing is, I'm I'm busy. I wrote this song about a musician's life on the road, and one of the parts says that uh, tonight you're listening to me, but tomorrow you won't know my name. And that's exactly the thing that musicians are facing, is that everyone is listening to you and they're listening to these songs and they're having a great time, but the next morning you won't even remember the musician's name, and he's on his way home, maybe watching the sunset.
Very true. Very true. Now, if we take that question and flip it around, is there a gig you would consider the worst? Everything went wrong, and how did you overcome it?
Well, I, I had this one show. It was a festival in. It was about 2 hours from my house, and I had this small Ford Figo that I would drive. And this day I decided, well, I'm gonna take this because I just bought myself a new combi, new van for my equipment, and I decided, well, let's take this car for the last spin. And on my way to this festival, my fan belt broke about about an hour away. So it was 2 hours away. First hour was great, and my car broke down just before. So I had to I had to organize a whole Uber and to fetch my wife from the place, because she came with her car, came and fetched me. Oh, it was such a mission. So she gave me her car, and we had to get an Uber back to where we stayed. That's another hour away. Ah, it was such a mission. I got to the place. I had to do a whole sound check, and as I did my sound check, my string broke, and I had to replace some strings. And when I got onto stage, then the sound wasn't right for my in-ears. No, it was a whole mission. But when I got on stage to do the show at last, it was a very cool show. People started dancing, and we had a great time. But before the time was hectic. It was a nightmare.
Oh man, I feel stressed even listening to that. Oh my God. And when it comes to showtime, then, what's your pre-show and your post-show? How do you psych yourself up? And then afterwards, how do you like to wind down?
Well, with my pre-show, normally I do some vocal warm-ups. I have to. I think it's been a thing about, oh, you're a rock star, so now you can drink before the time and you can do all these things. But I believe that music has become a business, and so you have to look after the talents and look after the voice that you have. So my pre-show, it's normally like warm-ups and just making sure I'm in the right mind with doing the show, that um you're gonna talk to people now, and I have to prepare myself for this, because you don't want to be on stage and be quiet, because this is entertainment now. And after my shows, normally I just get in my car. I greet everyone and spend some time a little bit and just wind a little bit down. But it's still, the excitement is in your blood. It's there. But I get in my car and I drive home very quiet. No music, just reflecting on what happened the evening, um, who enjoyed it, remembering some faces, and making sure I engrave this memory and remind myself about it. About the evening. So yeah, that's about my session.
I like it. I like it. Now, before we dive into the last couple of questions, future plans set in stone, new music, gigs, anything you can share with us?
Well, I've got a lot of songs, I'm already busy with the new recording, wanting to send out some new recordings. Um, so I'm busy with that, and I want to do some touring. I would love to go overseas and really build a fan base into international with my English music. I've got some more of a country vibe coming that I want to really send out, and yeah, get some good fans that loves my music. So that's the idea, and that's the mission. But yeah, putting it into place is normally the hard part.
Very true. Very true. But sounds like a good plan. That's the main thing. We'll
Yeah.
we'll dive into the last couple. There are a couple of fun random ones. First
Oh,
off,
for sure.
besides music, what are you currently obsessed with?
Wow, that's a hard one. I, I I haven't known anything else really. Well, sure. I enjoy some sports. So um, I enjoy playing some golf and just yeah, that's about it.
Okay, okay. Not too bad. I've heard worse.
Great.
The next one, it's a bit strange. If you had to spend 24 hours locked in a room with any musician from history, who would it be?
Wow. There's the I would love to spend time with Bon Jovi.
Oh,
Yeah, he's one of the coolest guys, and I would love to just get to know the guy. He looks like a vibe, and even now in the time where we are, I want to hear more about where they started and where he comes from. I think that would be great. Bon Jovi for sure. John Bon Jovi.
you know what? That's one I rarely hear, but it's such a good one because it'd be an easy 24 hours because aside from being a legendary rock star, he's portrayed as one of the nicest celebrities out there, one of the
Oh,
nicest people you could meet.
wow, really?
Yeah, he's always doing stuff for charity. He has his own soup kitchen and stuff like that, and he's always down there, as far as I know. And he was actually in the news a month or two ago. He actually stopped a lady from jumping off a bridge when he was shooting a music
Wow.
video, I think.
What a legend, man.
Yeah, yeah, really nice guy. And the final question. So, what's your go-to album? An album you constantly revisit?
That well, I listen to a lot of music, but I'll go back to some Birdie, like Skinny Love, Bon Iver, Birdie vibes.
Not too bad. Not too bad. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, because I think it's the meaningfulness of the writing. The singer-songwriter in me is attracted to that.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Listen, Jody, this has been an absolute blast. Now, thanks a million.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a great talking to you guys.
Pack your bags. All we need is you and me, and the highway we don't need to go to We can go to Paris or dance in the rain. Travel the whole world, just you and me. I've got my whole world and you're with me. We can go to Vegas, travel to Spain. We can go to Paris or dance in the rain. Travel the whole world, just you and me. I've got my whole world and you're with me. Yeah. Just breathe it in and breathe it out and let it go and let it out. Travel the world, feel the sunrise on our faces. Travel the world, feel the moonlight embrace us. Travel the world, feel the sunrise on our faces. Travel the world, feel the moonlight embrace us. Breathe it in.
Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. And if you're interested in signing up to Band Builder Academy, use the link in the show notes below and enter the code CONCERTS and you'll receive 10% off. So, until next time, keep rocking.
Hey, what are you guys still doing here? The show's over. It's over. You can go home. Go on. We'll see you next time. We'll be here. Bye.